Have you ever experienced the sudden disappearance of someone important from your life? That unexpected silence can feel like a punch in the gut, leaving you with endless questions. What did I do wrong, or am I no longer worth their time? The truth is, when someone suddenly cuts off communication, it often isn't about you, it's more about their need for control, their fear of accountability, or even their own emotional immaturity. In today's video, we'll break down several reasons behind this silence, share real-life stories that illustrate these points, and explore how ancient Stoic wisdom can help you reclaim your peace and confidence. Let's jump right in. When someone stops talking to you without explanation, it's rarely about needing space. More often than not, it's a deliberate move to control the situation. By disappearing suddenly, they force you into a position of uncertainty, making you chase after them for answers or validation. This power play leaves you overthinking every detail, constantly wondering what went wrong. The moment you stop searching for answers and instead focus on your own worth, you start reclaiming control over your emotions. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "Do not grieve the absence of those who only valued you in convenience." Their silence isn't a reflection of your value, it's a sign that they're trying to hold power over you. If you have ever noticed that when someone goes silent, as if they're testing your reaction, then their disappearance isn't accidental, it's a calculated tactic. They want to see if you will panic, chase after them, or allow your emotions to spiral out of control. The more emotionally reactive you become, the more power they gain over the situation. This is where Stoic philosophy comes in. Remember the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, who taught that the mind that is disturbed has given away its power. When you respond calmly to silence, you strip away their ability to manipulate your emotions. Instead of reacting impulsively, take a moment to reflect, center yourself, and reclaim your inner strength. Another reason someone might suddenly stop talking to you is to avoid accountability. When a person has made a mistake, be it a lie, hurtful behavior, or a broken promise, facing the consequences means having an honest conversation, apologizing, or making amends. Instead of owning up to their actions, they choose the easier path, vanishing into silence. Avoidance isn't a sign of maturity, it's a sign of someone not willing to confront their own shortcomings. As the philosopher Seneca once said, "Cowards hide in silence." When someone uses silence to dodge accountability, they're revealing a flaw in their character rather than reflecting on your worth. If you're on the receiving end of this behavior, remember that their inability to take responsibility is not your burden to fix. Let their silence be a window into their true nature, and don't let it diminish your self-worth. Instead, focus on maintaining your integrity and moving forward with clarity. Sometimes, the reason behind sudden silence is even more straightforward: you are being used. There are relationships where you give your time, support, and emotional energy, only for the other person to take advantage of your kindness. Once they no longer need what you provide, they simply disappear. This type of one-sided relationship can be incredibly painful, but it's also a powerful revelation. When someone stops talking to you without a valid reason, it's a clear sign that they valued you more for what you could offer rather than for who you are. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, it's important not to grieve the absence of those who never truly valued your bond. Learning to recognize these dynamics is crucial. It allows you to shift your focus to relationships that are built on mutual respect, trust, and genuine care. Let go of those who only showed up when it was convenient for them and make space for people who are truly present in your life. There's also a more insidious reason behind silence: creating a false narrative. Sometimes, when someone disappears, they're not just avoiding conversation, they're actively rewriting the story to portray themselves as the victim. In their absence, they allow others to fill in the blanks, often twisting the facts to make you out to be the villain. When you find yourself unfairly painted in a negative light because of someone else's silence, remember that your truth is not defined by their version of events. Rather than getting caught up in trying to defend yourself or correct every misconception, focus on living with integrity. Time has a way of revealing who truly knows your character and who is merely playing a part. By refusing to engage in damage control, you send a strong message: you know who you are, and you don't need to justify your actions to someone who's unwilling to communicate honestly. Trust that those who matter will see your true light without you having to chase after every false claim. A significant factor in why people go silent is emotional immaturity. When a person doesn't have the tools or the courage to face uncomfortable emotions, they often opt for silence rather than confrontation. This avoidance of honest communication and vulnerability isn't a sign of strength, it's a sign of an inability to handle emotional depth. If you're dealing with someone who retreats into silence every time the conversation turns serious, it's important to recognize that their behavior is more about their own limitations than about you. You deserve a connection where honesty, vulnerability, and growth are encouraged, not a relationship where discomfort leads to a shutdown. Accept that some people will always be emotionally immature. Instead of trying to force growth in someone who isn't ready, protect your own emotional well-being. Surround yourself with individuals who can engage in open and mature dialogue, and let go of those who choose silence over meaningful connection. Throughout all these scenarios, one thing remains clear: your response to silence is within your control. Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus on what we can control, our own reactions and inner peace. When someone stops talking to you, it's not a reflection of your worth but an opportunity for self-reflection and growth. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this silence? Rather than chasing after someone who isn't willing to communicate, channel your energy into self-improvement. Cultivate a sense of inner strength and let your actions speak louder than any unanswered messages ever could. As Epictetus reminds us, the mind that is disturbed has given away its power. Don't allow someone else's behavior to dictate your emotional state. Stand firm in your values, maintain your dignity, and trust that the truth will shine through over time. Let's take a moment to reflect on a few stories that illustrate these points. Elena's story. Elena found herself deeply connected to someone who suddenly went silent. Initially, she felt anxious and began questioning her worth. But instead of chasing after him, she took a step back and focused on herself. This calm approach shifted the power dynamic, revealing that his silence was a tactic to control the situation rather than a reflection of her value. Daniel's story. Daniel experienced a sudden coldness from a friend who used to be a close confidant. After days of confusion and self-blame, he realized that his friend's silence was a deliberate power move. By reclaiming his peace and not chasing after the friend, Daniel was able to regain control of his emotions and ultimately find more fulfilling relationships. Julia's story. Julia confronted a painful lie from someone she cared about, only to be met with silence. Instead of internalizing the blame, she understood that the silence was a manifestation of his inability to face the truth. Julia's realization that his ghosting was more about avoiding accountability than reflecting her self-worth allowed her to move forward with her life. Each of these stories shows us that when someone stops talking to you, it's not necessarily about you, it's about their own needs, fears, and limitations. Recognize the patterns, learn from them, and let your response be a reflection of your inner strength. So, what should you do if you find yourself on the receiving end of sudden silence? Here are a few key tips. 1. Don't chase after them. Resist the urge to seek constant validation or explanations. When someone goes silent, it's often a deliberate move to test your reaction. Focus instead on your own well-being. 2. Maintain your calm. Understand that your emotional reaction is within your control. The calmer you remain, the less power they have over you. Use this as an opportunity to reflect on your own values and priorities. 3. Protect your energy. Invest your time and emotional energy in relationships that are mutually respectful and genuine. Let go of those who only value you for what you can provide rather than for who you are. 4. Embrace your worth. Remember, your value isn't determined by someone else's inability to communicate. Stand in your truth and keep moving forward with confidence. 5. Learn and grow. Use each experience as a lesson. Every time someone goes silent, there's an opportunity to learn something about human behavior and about yourself. Embrace these moments as stepping stones on your path to personal growth. In conclusion, the silence of others can often be a reflection of their need for control, their avoidance of accountability, or their own emotional immaturity, not a measure of your worth. By embracing Stoic philosophy, you can turn these moments of silence into powerful opportunities for self-growth and empowerment. If you found today's video valuable, please consider liking and subscribing for more insights on personal development and Stoic wisdom. Leave a comment down below sharing your experiences with silence and how you've learned to handle it. Remember, your peace is yours to protect, and you have the power to rise above any silence that comes your way. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay strong, stay centered, and keep rising above the noise.